Hello, everyone. So, continuing from the last lecture of this session of discussion of the model question answers for the upcoming APSC examinations, we are in the model question paper number 2. And last class, we gone up to the question number 5. Now, today, we'll start from question number 6. The first question number 6, says that if a positive and proactive approach is adopted towards India's population growth, along with pragmatic policy moves, its large population, often seen as a burden, can actually become an asset in terms of economic growth and development. Analyze. This question is from the GS paper 1. We need to write with 250 words. So what happens is that এই কুৱেশ্যনটোত এইটো কৈছে যে আমাৰ যিটো পপুলেশ্যন গ্ৰোথ আপোনালোকে হয়তো নিউজত পাইছে চাগে অলৰেডি ইণ্ডিয়া নম্বৰ 1ত পজিশ্যনত পপুলেশ্যন গ্ৰোথ হৈছে and officially also we'll find it in our next census. Okay, but এইটো আমাৰ লাগে যে আমাৰ হাই পপুলেশ্যন গ্ৰোথ এটা বাৰ্ডেন হয় কিন্তু question is saying that if positive and proactive approach will be adopted towards the population growth and with pragmatic policy moves, আমাৰ যদি এটা পজিটিভ আৰু proactive এপ্ৰ'চ লওঁ আমি ভালকৈ যদি আমাৰ এই বহুত ডাঙৰ পপুলেশ্যন যিটো হৈছে পপুলেশ্যন গ্ৰথ যিটো হৈছে এটা প্ৰেগমেটিক ৱেত এটা মানে চিষ্টেমেটিক এপ্ৰ'চত আমি যদি ইউজ কৰোঁ তেনেহ'লে এই বাৰ্ডেন যেন লগা পপুলেশ্যনটো আমাৰ কাৰণে এছেট হিচাপেহে গণ্য হ'ব ইকনমিক গ্ৰথ আৰু ডেভেলপমেণ্টত ই সহায় কৰিব so this is the question. Let's come to the answer part. According to the UNFPA State of World Population SOWP report 2023, China is projected to hand over the baton of the most populous country to India by mid-2023. The report further added that India will have a population of 142.86 crores by the mid-2023, which is 2.9 billion higher than China's population of 142.57 crores. So, as I have already said, that when we add some reports, statistics to our answer, then that answer becomes an impactful one with respect to main answer scoring point of view. So here we are mentioning about UNFPA State of World Population report. So মোৰ লগত দুবাৰমান দহৰাওক এটো দুবাৰমান কক মোৰ লগত এটো UNFPA State of World Population Report 2023. India, it becomes now the world's most populous country, means China projected to hand over the baton of the most populous country to India by mid-2023. And India having the population of 142.86 crores, and that will be 2.9 million more than the China's population of 142.57. So you just need to remember that according to UNFPA State of World Population Report, UNFPA State of World Population Report, যাক আমি সহজকৈ SOWP বুলি কওঁ, now India becomes most populous country. Here it is written like in projected to hand over, but we just going to step in the mid of the 2023. So we can write like that. So India will going to have this most population country to India by most populous country by mid-2023. Then undoubtedly this has a population problem, but any strategy to change the fertility rates should be carefully thought out. আমি যে কৈছো এই যে ইণ্ডিয়া চাইনাই তাহাঁতৰ বাৰ্ডেন আছিল সেইটো আমাৰ ইণ্ডিয়ালৈ হেণ্ড অভাৰ কৰিছে কিন্তু আচলতে সেইটো হিচাপত যদি ইফ ইউ আৰ গোইং টু টেক সাম ফাৰ্টিলিটি ৰেট কন্ট্ৰোল ষ্ট্ৰেটেজি then what happened? We have to consider it very carefully. India's population concern is largely restricted to Bihar, UP, Jharkhand, Rajasthan, and MP. So these are the states, Bihar, UP, Jharkhand, Rajasthan, and MP, where we can find the most portion of the population. Rising population is a boon for India. Population is a resource as long as the country's carrying capacity is intact. If our country has the capacity to carry this much population, then obviously we can utilize this population as resource. There are greater prospects for demographic dividend than a disaster. Okay, I hope you know about the term demographic dividend. Then 68% of the working age population in 2023, the country continues to have a demographic window of opportunity for the next 35 years to reap an economic dividend. So we have 68% of the working age population, and it is believed that up to the next 35 years, can utilize this opportunity. Now, a demographic window of opportunity in itself will not automatically turn into an economic dividend. Declining and aging population of Japan, China, US, and other major economies potential to become a worldwide market for both production and consumption with lower manufacturing costs due to a relatively cheaper workforce. This is very much evident in India's IT sector. We know that India's IT sector is mostly being utilized by these countries, maximum from the US, right? The potential to boost per capita GDP by an additional 43% by 2061, provided the socio-economic and the political enabling environment is conducive. Now, increasing population is a ban for India. We have just discussed rising population as a boon for India, where we have seen that population can be utilized as a resource until and unless the country has the capacity to carry that. Then greater prospects of demographic dividend. We have 68% of population working age criteria, and that can be utilized up to 35 years to reap an economic dividend. Then a demographic window of opportunity in itself may not automatically turn into economic dividend. We have to utilize it. Then we have the potential to boost per capita GDP by an additional 43% by 2061, provided that socio-economic and political enabling environment is conducive. Now, increasing population is a ban for India. Drastic population control methods run the risks of inducing forced population aging. A total fertility rate of less than 8 may not be economically beneficial for India. Once fertility tends to decline, it is hard to reverse it. And China suffered from it already, right? What the country needs are the policies that support an enabling environment that can provide high quality education, healthcare, and employment infrastructure, and gender empowerment. If India falls short in this, that is high quality education, healthcare, employment, infrastructure, and gender empowerment, so if India falls in this, its demographic dividend can become a demographic disaster. So nowadays, we are utilizing as a demographic dividend, of course. But if our India policies are not in such a way that will be suitable for high quality education, healthcare, employment, infrastructure, and gender empowerment, then very shortly this demographic dividend will turn into demographic disaster. So policies should be made very careful. I would like to show you the definition of demographic dividend. Okay, sometimes it's pronounced as dividend or dividend. So now, demographic dividend as defined by United Nations Provident Fund is the economic growth potential that can result from the shift shifts in a population's structure, mainly when the share of the working age population, remember, according to United Nations Population Fund definition, see, so this data is very important. So 15 to 64 is considered as working age population. Okay, so when the share of working age population is larger than the non-working age share of population, that is 14 and younger and 65 and older. So non-working age groupত আমি কাক ধৰা হৈছে 14 বছৰ বা তাতকৈ কম বা 65 years বা তাতকৈ ওপৰ। So কি কৈছে যে এই যে ডেমোগ্ৰাফিক ডিভাইডেড হৈছে ইকনমিক গ্ৰোথ পটেনশিয়েল, যি এটা শিফটৰ পৰা পোৱা যায়। কি শিফট? পপুলেশ্যন এজ ষ্ট্ৰাকচাৰ শিফট। আৰু সেই শিফটটো কোনফালে বেছিকে গৈছে, মানে কোনটো চাইডত বেছিকে সেই পাৰ্চেন্টেজটো আছে? ৱৰ্কিং এজ চাইডত, মানে 15ৰ পৰা 64, নে তোমাৰ নন ৱৰ্কিং, দ্যাট ইজ 14 years বা তাতকৈ কম বা 65 বা তাতকৈ ওপৰ? যদি আমি এইটো শিফট পাওঁ ৱৰ্কিং এজ পপুলেশ্যনৰ চাইডে, মানে working age population group is larger than non-working age side of share of the population, then we can call it as demographic dividend as per the United Nations Population Fund. In other words, it is a boost in economic productivity that occurs when there are a growing number of people in the workforce relative to the number of dependents. So number of dependent number of jo working workforce আছে হেতু বেছিকৈ বাঢ়ি যায়। UNFPA, that is United Nations Population Fund, stated that a country with both increasing number of young people and declining fertility has the potential to reap a demographic dividend. So যদি young peopleৰ সংখ্যা বাঢ়ি যায় আৰু ফাৰ্টিলিটিও কমি যায়, তেনেহলেও demographic dividendটো এটা ৰিপ হোৱাৰ চান্স থাকে। Now, let me show you some figures. See, this is the demographic dividend. A successful demographic dividend depends on the 3 factors. মনত ৰাখিব, এইখিনি আমি ইউটিলাইজ কৰিব পাৰিম। বিশেষকৈ এই ডায়াগ্ৰামটো ডিচেণ্ট ৱৰ্ক, কোৱালিটি এডুকেশ্যন, এফৰ্ডেবল কোৱালিটি হেল্থ কেয়াৰ, মই ইতিমধ্যে আমাৰ আনচাৰটো মেনশ্যন কৰিছোঁ, ৰাইট? এইটো থাকিলে ডেমোগ্ৰাফিক ডিভাইডেণ্ডটো আমি ছাকচেছফুলি ইউজ কৰিব পাৰিম, ৰাইট? আকৌ এবাৰ আমি মনত ৰাখিব, এফৰ্ডেবল কোৱালিটি হেল্থ কেয়াৰ থাকিব লাগিব, then quality education, then decent works. Now, these are in cooperation with the regional government. So regional government is taking care of these two, mainly decent work, quality education, then national government. But overall, you can write like that: government, a circle, then it's being connected to the affordable quality healthcare, quality education, decent work. That is how a demographic dividend becomes a successful one. So we can also answer the question like that: how you define demographic dividend and how can be utilized towards a successful one. So we can write like now. Now, mentioning this figure will be more important for that answer. Then similarly, the idea behind demographic dividend: young working age population, that is 16 to 64 years, right education, training, skills, grooming, then economic and industrial system with opportunities. Because of course, if they have the skill, then there should be some way that skill can be applied or employed for the economic growth of that country. And for that, we need industrial system also. Then employment and apprentices should be there. And in that way, which means employment and apprenticeships, and that way they will earn, then jobs will be grown like that, right? Higher consumption in domestic economy. So overall, when domestic economy will be consumed higher, then of course economic prosperity of the country will be there. So in that way, the idea behind demographic dividend works. And similarly, we can show this, that family size plus lifespan, demographic dividend, labor supply, savings, human capital, economic growth. Okay, you can take a screenshot of this. I hope this will work good for you. Okay. So that's why we have mentioned that if India falls in high quality education, healthcare, employment infrastructure, and gender empowerment based policies, then its demographic dividend will soon turn into a demographic disaster. So population growth acts as a hurdle in addressing effectively the problem of poverty, hunger, and malnutrition, and also in providing the better quality of health and education. Okay. So, we have sustainable development goals. 17 such goals are there. I hope you all know about that because you are current stage. So although it means you have already qualified prelims with more 74 or more than 74% marks, right? 74 cutoff, sorry. So you know about the SDGs. So SDGs 1, 2, 3, and 4 are going to be affected adversely because of India's existing pattern of growth in the population. What it says that SDG 1, 2, 3, and 4. In one class, don't worry. I'll discuss about the SDGs also. And if someone who are just preparing for the exam, I'm not referring them. I have targeted those who have already qualified prelims and now preparing for the main. So if you are just preparing for the APSC or EPSC, then there's no problem. I'll cover that with a separate lecture. Just remember that 1, 2, 3, 4 of the SDGs will be affected adversely because of the India's existing pattern of growth of the population. Presently, India is producing around 25 million job seekers in the country. However, the country is able to provide jobs only to 7 and 8 million. See, 25 million job seekers are there, but we have jobs only for 7 million. You can see that there is a gap of 18 million, which is increasing the burden of unemployment and underemployment in the country. See, both of these two are different terms, unemployment and underemployment. 25 million job seekers with some good educational background also, skills also, but they are not going, some of them are not getting the jobs as per their skill level, and some are not getting a job, even not getting a job. So that's why unemployment and underemployment problem in the country is occurring, turning a demographic dividend into a demographic disaster. India's population growth is not sustainable. India is only about 35 to 40% of China's landmass. China's landmass is far beyond far more than our India's one, right? So we have only 35 to 40% of China's landmass. So we don't have that much of resources, or you can say agricultural base or everything in comparison to China, because there is a country with a larger landmass can utilize its landmass properly with respect to the larger population. Now, in the 19th century, when Europe had a demographic explosion, it had occupied America, Australia, etc. India does not have another large landmass to occupy, and the available landmass cannot take this population growth. You know about Europe's demographic explosion, but that had occupied America, Australia, because there are different landmasses available at that time. But we, India, don't have another landmass that we can occupy this mass of population growth, right? Measures needed to ensure that population growth is a boon for India, not a ban. So employment or job creation, if India is able to generate sufficient and quality jobs for its bulking working age population, then it is okay. Education, skill generation, and ensuring a healthy lifespan, it is critical not only for better productivity, but it is also reducing the excessive public spending and helps in greater capital creation. Then good governance reflected through conscientious policies, right? It will help in creating a healthy environment for increasing efficiency and productivity in the population. See, good governance is really a very critical term in our polity. Means governance is there, whether can you call it as a good governance or not. You should try that question also. What are the factors or what are the features of a good governance? Consider this as a question from my side, because that is also important. One day we'll discuss about that particular question also. So good governance should be there, and that will be reflected. It means government will be called good or bad, that will be only through its policies. So if conscientious policies are there, it will help in creating healthy environment for increasing efficiency and productivity of the population. Then India needs to invest more in the health sector. It invests only 1.3% of its GDP. And family planning budget is only 4% of the entire health budget. And within that, India spends only 1.5% on the birth spacing method. So investment should be made particularly for the old people, because by the year 2050, India's population of old people is going to grow almost 10 times more than that of now. So we should spend some investment for old age generation also, because by the 2050, India's old people's generation, means old population, will be going to grow by almost 10 times more than what currently we have. So this is a very wrong indicator that only 1.3% investment is there in GDP for the health sector. We should increase it. Then education is very important, not only for just empowering women, but also for fertility to decline. Education should be made free for women till the college level, because ultimately it's a woman who can actually considered as the main part of this population growth, but they are not responsible. We cannot make that claim that they are the responsible one. We all are responsible. But education, if we have a quote, if education is imparted to a girl, then it will educate the whole generation. That single quote can justify all the facts behind this sentence. So better education will help women in better decision making for family planning, right? Better education will help women in better decision making or for family planning. Unless women are part of the workforce, no society can bring down the fertility rate with progress. Therefore, policies must look at the whole issue of declining workforce participation by women. And India needs to focus on some areas which are socially, culturally, economically depressed. Identification of 140 high focus districts is the right step by the government in this direction. See, we have that means our current government has already taken this step of identifying such districts which are very depressed economically, socially, and culturally. So it needs to work in the whole of Bihar, UP, Madhya Pradesh, and Assam. Then only you can say that will be more good, or that will put some positive impact. India needs to give huge stress on declining sex ratios and the discrimination towards the girls, so that people don't have a high number of children in the hope of having a boy. That is the mentality. We should not deny it, because that's the reality. We can see. We should not have to mention the state's name, but this is the reality. India can achieve a number of SDGs if it links them with family planning. Family planning is a promotive and preventive method for bringing down maternal mortality and child mortality. So family planning is very crucial, because if it is a promotive and preventive, means if it is promotive, then only it can work as a preventive method for bringing down the maternal mortality and child mortality. It is important to see the issue of population growth not only from the national perspective, but also from the state's point of view. That is, different states need to be encouraged to take necessary steps for containing the population, because only one policy is not going to work for all the states. We have different status for Bihar, UP, Madhya Pradesh, and we have different status for Meghalaya, Assam. So that should be made, policy should be made state basis. Localized planning should be there for population control. Then conclusion we can write like opportunities and cost are the two sides of the coin when it comes to being the world's largest populous country. So opportunities and costs, both are there. Both are the two sides of the coin if we considering it as the world's largest populous country. So, however, relatively younger population of India provide higher support ratio. At least we can hope it up to 2050, right? So we should very carefully plan our policies so that this demographic dividend will not turn into demographic disaster. So jimankhini point yat moi mention korisu আমি এখিনি পঢ়িছো সেইখিনি পইণ্ট সাফিচিয়েণ্ট খালি দুটামান ডাটা যেনেকে আমাৰ এই হেল্থ ছেক্টৰত 1.3% অফ জিডিপি হে ইউজ কৰা হৈছে আৰু 19th century সেই ইউৰোপত হোৱা ডেমোগ্ৰাফিক এক্সপ্লনশ্যনটো আৰু ইণ্ডিয়াৰ লেণ্ডমাৰ্ক যে চাইনাৰ 35 to 40% হে হয় তেনেকে ইণ্ডিয়াত 25 million job seekers আছে কিন্তু আমাৰ ওচৰত মাত্ৰ দিব পৰা job 7 million হে আছে so high gap of 18 million unemployment and underemployment তেনেকে সবতকে যেটো বেছি ইম্পৰ্টেন্ট SDG 1 2 3 4 হেতু adversely affect হ'ব যদি এনেকুৱাই ধৰণৰ প্যাটাৰ্ন থাকে গ্ৰোথ অফ পপুলেশনৰ তেনেকে আমি এইখিনি যদি মানে আৰু এটা ক'ব পাৰো যে এই টোটাল ফাৰ্টিলিটি ৰেট অফ less than 8 may not be economically beneficial then GDP যদি আমি বুশ কৰিব পাৰো 43% by 2061 that is also good এই যে এক্সাম্পল খিনি দিয়া হৈছে like এতিয়া 2023 আমাৰ working age population কিমান আছে কিমান কৈছিলো 68% আছে right next 35 years লৈকে এটো থাকিব 68% working age population that is a very good demographic dividend right সেইখিনি আমি ইউজ কৰিব পাৰিম আৰু এতিয়াৰ যেটো কারেন্ট পপুলেশন ৰিপোর্ট UNFPA state of world population UNFPA state of world population report 2023 তাৰ মতে 142.86 crores by mid 2020 আৰু হে আমাৰ ইণ্ডিয়াৰ আৰু আমাৰ চাইনাৰ কিমান আছে বুলি কৈছিলে চাইনাৰ আছে বুলি কৈছিলে 142.57 that is 2.9 million আমাৰ ইণ্ডিয়াৰ হৈ গৈছে 142.86 এই ডেটা খিনি যদি আমি এই question to mention কৰিব পাৰো তেতিয়া question to আৰু meaningful answer হৈ যাব right এইখিনিতে মই আৰু আপোনালোকক এটা বস্তু দেখুৱাব বিচাৰিম কিয়নো ইয়াত SDG 1 2 3 4 2 বেয়াকৈ adversely impact হ'ব যদি population growth to এনেকৈ গৈ থাকে হেতু কাৰণে মই SDG goal যেটো 17 goal আছে হেতু এবাৰ দেখুৱাব বিচাৰিম I hope it will work good for you see SDG 1 means no poverty SDG 2 means zero hunger SDG 3 means good health and well-being SDG 4 means quality education so no poverty zero hunger good health and well-being quality education so are 1 2 3 4 but we have to know all of them so I'm repeating again SDG 1 is no poverty SDG 2 is zero hunger SDG 3 means good health and well-being SDG 4 means quality education SDG 5 means gender equality this is again very important then SDG 6 means clean water and sanitation SDG 7 means affordable and clean energy then SDG 8 means decent work and economic growth 9 means industry innovation and infrastructure 10 required reduced inequalities so see 5 means gender inequality should be there and 10 means reduce inequalities right inequality may be from different terms either gender either some class caste or whatever it is so we have to reduce inequalities by SDG 10 goal then 11 sustainable cities and communities then 12 responsible consumption and production 13 climate action 14 life below water 15 life on land 16 peace justice and strong institutions and means peace is more focused in the SDG 16 then 17 partnership for the goals so let's revise it again 1 no poverty 2 zero hunger 3 good health and well-being 4 quality education 5 gender equality 6 clean water and sanitation 7 affordable and clean energy 8, decent work and economic growth. 9, industry and infrastructure, innovative infrastructure and infrastructure. 10, reduce inequalities. 11, sustainable cities and communities. 12, responsible consumption and production. 13, climate action. 14, life below water. 15, life on land. 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions. 17, partnership for the goals. So in the question, answering the question on this demographic dividend, we have mentioned about 1, 2, 3, 4, no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, and quality education. So guys, that's all for this session. We'll meet very soon for the upcoming question answers. Thank you. Thank you very much.